For decades, North Korea's Air Force has been a collection of Cold War relics barely able to leave the ground, let alone pose a threat beyond its borders. In March 2025, intelligence analysts spotted an aging Soviet Il-76 transport aircraft sitting in an isolated Pyongyang hangar, undergoing a transformation far beyond routine maintenance. Satellite imagery revealed a distinctive shape forming atop the fuselage, a radar array previously considered out of reach for North Korea's military. Kim Jong Un is getting his own eye in the sky, capable of hunting Western stealth aircraft and directing missile strikes across vast distances. International sanctions should make Kim Jong Un's access to this technology impossible. Like the aircraft itself, a more troubling question emerges. Who is helping him? The aircraft that refuses to die. The Ilyushin Il-76 Candid, fixed-wing, four-engine turbofan strategic airlifter first took to the Soviet skies all the way back in 1971. Built by Russia in the latter half of the Cold War, this aircraft was designed with a singular primary mission: hauling anything from troops and tanks to fuel, cargo, ammunition, and everything in between. It was engineered for speed over rough terrain and capable of operating from short or unprepared runways, and it earned its spot as the USSR's favorite strategic airlifter. Over the decades, just like many other USSR-made military platforms, the aircraft proliferated far beyond the Soviet sphere. Hundreds and hundreds of these models were exported, modified, or in cases like China, reverse engineered. Sanctioned states and isolated regimes took a particular liking to it, as parts remain relatively accessible. It's functionally reliable, highly adaptable, and in the right hands, deceptively dangerous. Over time, engineers have repurposed the same airframe into aerial refueling tankers, electronic warfare platforms, and most notably, airborne early warning and control systems designed to detect incoming threats, track multiple targets, and coordinate complex multi-platform air operations via sophisticated sensor arrays and specialized mission crews. Russia led this evolution with the A-50 mainstay, a modernized variant immediately identifiable by its distinctive large rotating radome. In the 2000s, China's answer to this model came in the form of the KJ-2000 Mingring, a domestically made Candid AEW&C system that marked a significant step in China's shift toward independence, and despite not being widely exported, the aircraft's design quietly influenced other platforms across Asia. But while Russia and China turned the Il-76 into airborne command posts, another operator kept quiet, right up until the day it rolled out, complete with pomp, fanfare, and a camera-ready leader. Rumors abound. Sometime in the late Cold War, likely during the 1980s or early 90s, North Korea quietly acquired a small number of the Soviet-built Il-76 airlifters, with estimates hovering around 2 or 3, all belonging to Air Koryo, the state-owned flag carrier of North Korea. For years, these mystery models were barely seen, albeit with occasional sightings on a runway or satellite pass. Because of this, the aircraft were assumed to be dormant, used for parts, training, or essential cargo when nothing else was available, with only one of them temporarily painted in camouflage in the past for an unknown project. But in the late 2010s, whispers began to circulate that one of the airframes might be undergoing conversion into North Korea's own AEW&C platform. With no images, no flights, and no confirmation, the theory was largely written off, with most analysts believing North Korea's tech base wasn't even capable of pulling off something that complex. In late 2023, however, satellite imagery revealed something strange parked near a maintenance hangar at Pyongyang Sunan International Airport. One of the old Il-76s, thought to have been mothballed, showed signs of work being done on the fuselage just behind the wings. These are the exact kind of structural modifications seen when a radome is about to be mounted. Then came the breakthrough. In October 2023, graduate researcher Decker Eveleth uncovered what everyone else had missed. He spotted the aircraft tucked away in a newly isolated compound at Pyongyang. By December, satellite imagery revealed a round, reinforced section added to the fuselage's top. As modifications accelerated through the new year, The fitting of the actual radar dome made it all but official. North Korea was in the midst of building its own airborne early warning and control platform. That summer, new images showed that the mystery model's upper fuselage had been converted. Whether to hide the work from prying Western eyes or buy time before the unveiling remained unknown. Work continued behind this sneaky barrier for the rest of the year until it was moved to a nearby hangar, where it lay out of view through the winter. Up and flying. For months, there were no new updates, no satellite images, and no open-source analysis. Then, on March 25, 2025, North Korean state media released images of what had been concealed behind tarps and tents for months. As it turns out, not only is the Pyongyang-made IL-76 airborne early warning aircraft already flying, the model has also just received the ultimate propaganda treatment, Kim Jong Un's personal seal of approval. In a series of carefully curated and posed photographs, like all publicly released content by North Korea, Leader Kim is seen inspecting the aircraft, complete with a white and gray paint scheme at Pyongyang International Airport. Notably absent are any official designations or names for the platform. Presumably, these details are too sensitive to share with the Western world. The photos from the external side of the aircraft confirm that North Korea's AEW&C bears the hallmarks of both Russian and Chinese designs. Clearly visible is the distinctive triangular radome mounted atop the rear fuselage, now confirmed to be fixed in place, unlike Russia's rotating A-50 design. This configuration, virtually identical to those found on the Chinese KJ-2000 and other Chinese AEW&C platforms, comes with 3 non-rotating phased array radars, allegedly providing 360-degree all-around coverage. The Chinese connection is impossible to ignore, despite both nations' constant denials of military technology transfers. Meanwhile, interior imagery reveals a fully equipped command center with at least 7 operator workstations, complemented by flat-screen monitors lining all along the fuselage walls. While legitimate AEW&C aircraft require substantial crews to monitor airspace and direct friendly forces, the North Korean version looks suspiciously pristine, almost artificially so. According to some, the spotless, cabin-free environment of the photos more closely resembles a propaganda set than a functional military platform. What stands out to military analysts is exactly what's missing. The aircraft lacks the expected antenna arrays and radar fittings, and equipment hardpoints typically found on the A-50 mainstay and KJ-2000 mainring. This significant absence suggests that either the model is still in development finishing touches, or that it's all a clever facade to cover its limited capabilities. It's all part of a plan. In the end, this coordinated photo op raises more questions than answers. Kim reportedly declared the aircraft will, quote, play a significant role in monitoring potential threats and gathering critical information. But given North Korea's history of exaggerating military capabilities for strategic advantage, this IL-76-based AEW&C aircraft likely exists somewhere between a functional prototype and an elaborate mock-up. North Korea's newest creation didn't arrive alone. In the same week of the unveiling, North Korea's state media began showcasing something else: hundreds and hundreds of drones. Also in late March 2025, Kim Jong Un personally oversaw field tests of a new family of unmanned systems. There were all kinds of drones, from loitering munitions, fixed-wing reconnaissance platforms, and boxy, low-profile airframes believed to support electronic warfare or jamming roles. Just like the AEW&C platform photos, these also look just as polished and posed, with the leader in full view, inspecting drone racks, watching targeting displays, and gesturing at staff. These systems are part of a broader structure, one where airborne surveillance, tactical drones, and precision-guided weapons all plug into a coordinated chain of targeting and response. And right at its center is the newly publicized AEW&C platform, serving as a control node, directing drone traffic, assigning targets, and closing the gap between reconnaissance and action. True or not? For North Korea's Air Force, the introduction of an airborne early warning and control aircraft signals a wild departure from the nation's aging inventory, consisting of Soviet-era jets, a handful of questionably acquired Western imports, and a roster that hasn't meaningfully evolved in decades. According to Eveleth, quote, "An AEW system capable of detecting cruise missiles seems like something the DPRK would definitely be interested in. You'd theoretically put the plane in the air in a crisis and have it run a figure eight over the DPRK, looking for incoming cruise munitions." Still, glaring questions remain about the missing hardware. Intelligence analysts point to Chinese fingerprints all over the radar design. Others see Moscow's clear hand at work, with mounting evidence suggesting the Kremlin is behind North Korea's leap forward. According to South Korea's intelligence agency, since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, North Korea has already delivered over 10 separate weapons shipments for use against Ukrainian forces. This weapons for technology exchange creates the perfect scenario for sanctions-evading collaboration. But there's another, even more suspicious coincidence. Russia has recently begun dismantling several Beriev BE-976 aircraft, quasi-civilian versions of the A-50 mainstay AEW&C system, built on identical IL-76 platforms and packed with advanced sensors for missile test monitoring. Russia insists they're simply scrapping outdated telemetry aircraft for routine maintenance. The truth appears far more calculated. These dismantled systems contain what North Korea craves: advanced radar components, signal processors, and electronic warfare modules. It's the same technology that appeared as if by magic in Pyongyang's newest platform. Moscow sits on a goldmine of surplus parts scattered across secure warehouses, valuable components that could transform Kim's single unfinished showpiece into a legitimate fleet virtually overnight, all without even a hint of a paper trail.